What's up, my fellow Tolkien nerds and fellow Scounder nerds? Let's talk about episode 14 of Kamen Rider Zeztz, because this episode was pretty good and all, and everything. So, we start off with Baku, after he got sucked into the black hole from last week. He's now in this, he was in his own dream, from my understanding, and his mind was testing him? What was the test exactly? Because it wasn't really clear about that. In my mind, I think it was something else. I'll get to that in just a minute. But it was the visualization was really cool. You got body, Physicam, Techno, SPM, and Paradigm kind of surrounding the area, which was a really cool effect that each one had its own little thing to it. Physicam had the body, because body. I don't remember if I saw anything for Technolom, the blue. I didn't quite see anything for that. Mind had like a... It was circle, but part of me thinks it was just like a version of a brain. But I can't say for sure. And then Paradigm was like a... Honestly, it kind of feels like Technolom should have the effect that Paradigm had. Because it was like... different shapes and all that. I think that would make more sense, but still looked pretty cool. And then we kind of got into Baku's first bad dream. Because if you guys remember, Nox mentions that the cat, from either last week or 2 weeks ago, Nox said that the capsules contain bad dreams that come true. So we got to experience the first bad dream that Baku ever had. But there was something else too. Apparently, his mind was remembering him that he knew Nox, or Odika, from back in school. Which that is very interesting. Because Nemu mentions that maybe dreams don't involve reality. Baku says that wasn't it was something else. He literally forgot that Nox was his teacher for some class. The explanation that we got for that class is very vague. It involves sleeping, but we don't know anything else other than that. Maybe it was like this special class that Baku mentioned that he was good at. My mind, this is just a theory right here. This is just a theory. Maybe it was for a class to teach kids how to lucid dream. Maybe. You'll let me know what you think. And seeing the whole situation with Baku getting struck by lightning, that's... Yeah, thank God I never got struck by lightning before. I could see why it would be a bad dream, because, yeah, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense why that would be the first bad dream Baku ever had. And I guess this episode kind of dealt with the argument of if he should use the capsums, aka the bad dreams, to help him with his secret agent stuff. It kind of dove on that a little bit. Not gonna lie, this episode I had to watch a couple times just to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. It's kind of, in my mind, it was kind of very... okay, this happened. Okay, now this happened. I just had to make sure I was getting every information I had from this episode. So, if I missed something, please let me know. Otherwise, this is what I got. So, during the end of that dream process, well, actually, before that, I'm jumping around here and there. I apologize for that. Before that, Zero, which is able to give Baku a call, which, okay, the comment that Baku said, he can get reception here. Here's what I think. It's a dream. His main body is in the real world, and we know that the Zeztz gear came from the real world, because Zero is in the real world. So the reception is actually pretty good in all things considered. So, yeah. It makes sense in my brain, at least. His mission is eliminate the enemy, aka Nox. Which then ties into the whole school situation. Baku forgetting that Nox was a teacher and all that. I already covered that. My apologies. Jumping around. And then at the end of all that, Baku decides he's gonna use the capsule no matter what, because an agent can use anything he needs. No, I'm getting my words wrong. I apologize. Has to use anything in his resource. So, therefore, the capsules. So, and it's kind of cool that the Inazuma Plasma capsule doesn't come from the Gashapon machine, but instead, it came from the lightning, which was the bad dream. So, the first dream is Inazuma Plasma. That's kind of cool. I'll get to the suit in just a minute. I just want to get everything out there first. So, at the end of that, we also had like a B plot? Kind of? Sort of? Nox was hunting down a nightmare in his own dream? From my understanding, Nox's dream is in his own dream. So, facing off the nightmare there. Here's the interesting thing about that. The nightmare isn't ever going to go away because Nox is afraid. Nox claims he's not afraid. But who was talking? What's the situation on that? Because the nightmare in that one kind of looked like Technolom's dream or a Technolom form. But it was very misty, so you don't know what it is. I saw blue eyes, so that's why I was thinking Technolom, but that's just my theory. It wouldn't make sense because Nox already took care of the capsules back in last week's episode. So, I'm not sure what that was. It's some sort of nightmare. Okay, we just don't know what it is. So, that whole situation is very interesting. Also, we got to see Nox in the real world, aka Odaka. And my first thought was, he's in the hospital. But when Fujimi and Nagamo were trying to find him, they got nothing. Nothing, zilch, nada. So, where is he exactly? Because we saw the real body and it was like some sort of in a coma state. There was medical stuff around him. And an IV thing by him, so Not sure what that situation is about, but curious nonetheless. And also, I want to mention that Nox did say that he will wake up before the whole fight between Nox and Baku. So, very interested right there. There's definitely setting up something in this episode. We just don't know what. Now, the whole fight sequence. Woo! That was good. Oh my god. Toku speed, super speed powers. Freaking amazing, man. If you have not seen Kamen Rider, damn, super speed is freaking cool. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that whole fight sequence with Baku using Inazuma Plasma and Nox just trying to counteract that is so cool. And the weapon, I completely forgot what the weapon is called. But it's like a lightning, bow, arrow, sword, weapon thingy. Moving on. That was really cool. And, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on that. And then at the end of that whole fight sequence, we got a little conversation between Nox and Baku. Nox saying, "You're finally starting to remember," after Baku questions him about what the heck's going on with his mind. So, Baku assumes it was Nox that tampered with his mind, but am I understanding this correctly? Is Code the one behind Baku's memory loss about Nox? Because if so, that would make sense. He was Nox was former agent number 4, so something must have happened to where he must have betrayed Code in some way, shape, or form, and then had everyone else that was working under Code completely mind wipe Nox out of existence in their brain. So that could be something. It does lead me to concerns about Zero's agenda and all that. So we're just gonna have to see what next episode brings us. Now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the suit. Damn, it is a good suit. The gold, the clashing with the gray is so good. I love the lightning aesthetic to it. It is so good. Also, I'm very okay. I'm not sure how to feel, but it's interesting that Inazuma Plasma changed the Zeztz antenna horns from black to green. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I'm kind of right down the middle of it. Because the only other green in the suit is on the belt. So it's kind of off-putting. But Zetz's main color is green. So take that as you will. Either way, it's a phenomenal suit. And I cannot wait to see what the boost form would look like in the next episode. So, without further ado, I gotta get working on my Tokudet project for Zio Agito. So, until next time, take care.